Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and now you're all having a great day. To start things off, Warren Buffett is back in the news again. It's no longer fashionable, so just promise to eat your appendages, Mr. McAfee, if a Bitcoin price prediction doesn't come true. Now the real deal is staking millions in cold hard cash. Perhaps peeved by Warren Buffett's constant bashing of Bitcoin, an unidentified crypto bull in Australia is betting millions of dollars that the Bitcoin price will exceed the share price of the Warren Buffett-headed investing conglomerate, Berkshire Hathaway, by 2030. According to the chief executive officer of bookmaker William Hill Australia, Tom Waterhouse, an anonymous punter made this $8.5 million bet on the behalf that Bitcoin will be worth more than the price of Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares, which are currently trading at more than $280,000 above Bitcoin within half a decade. That is an amazing price for any stock at the moment. That's absolutely insane. I won't read through the Twitter thing. At the current market exchange rate, that's a bet of $6.28 million US, with possible winnings of $890 million. It must be nice to be able to make a bet like this. Currently, the market price of the New York Stock Exchange listed Class A shares of Berkshire Hathaway is over $288,000, meaning that Bitcoin will have to appreciate by more than 40 times in the next couple of years. I kind of feel like it's possible 5 years for Bitcoin to be. We have predictions that by 2020 we'll hit around 100,000. So I could see that happening. I could see that definitely. It would be a shame if it actually ended up hitting like 287,000, like just below it, and this guy ended up losing like $100 million. Anyway, actually even more than that. Yeah, it's actually $890 million. Excuse me. Buffett's anti-Bitcoin stance has been well documented. In April, as reported by CCN, the Oracle of Omaha likened Bitcoin buying to gambling, since it had no returns other than the expectation that it could be offloaded at a higher price in the future. He said if you buy something like a farm, an apartment house, I don't know what an apartment house is, or an interest in a business, you can do that on a private basis, and it's a perfectly satisfactory investment. You look at the investment itself to deliver the return to you. Now, if you buy something like Bitcoin or some cryptocurrency, you don't really have anything that has produced anything. You're just hoping that the next guy pays more, Buffett said. In the run-up to Bitcoin reaching record highs last year, Buffett warned that Bitcoin was a bubble during a Q&A session with business students. He repeated similar remarks during a television interview in January of this year. And as far back as 2014, when the flagship currency was trading at around $320, he urged people to stay away from Bitcoin. But unlike in the past, the cryptosphere now seems to have refused to sit back and let the anti-Bitcoin rhetoric slide. 2 months ago, after the billionaire investor branded Bitcoin rat poison squared during the annual shareholder meeting of Berkshire Hathaway, cloud mining giant Genesis Mining put up billboards bearing the caption, "Warren, you said you were wrong about Google and Amazon. Maybe you're wrong about Bitcoin," close to the billionaire's office in Omaha, Nebraska. Warren Buffett has said many times that he actually stays away from anything techie simply because he doesn't understand it. And not that he doesn't want to understand it, but I'm pretty sure he has no interest into it, especially if you're talking to your shareholders who are there to hear how great your company is. You're not going to praise something that you especially don't understand. My number one thing with Warren Buffett, I appreciate what he's done for traditional finance, but the first time or the only time I heard him say or call Bitcoin BitChain, I was completely done with every single argument that he could ever have against it. Like this says, 320, Bitcoin hit 20,000, regardless of what the price is right now. There are a lot of people who've been saying that Bitcoin won't go anywhere since it hit $10 a coin. They said that even that was a bubble and it was definitely going to come back down. I mean, this is like the third or fourth bet that we've actually had against or for cryptocurrencies over the last couple of months. There's the $1 million EOS bet. We have this one. There's the John McAfee one. And there was another one that somebody bet that I think that Bitcoin Cash was eventually going to pass by Bitcoin. Just a lot of people with a lot of money, I guess a lot of time on their hands, so they are actually able to make bets like this, because I know that I can't make any multi-million-dollar bets on the price of Bitcoin soaring. But I'm kind of confident at least at the moment, that the price of Bitcoin will probably exceed $250,000. I want to say the next 10 years. I don't know about 5 years. Anyway, Binance is back in the news. The hype surrounding the little island of Malta, where the crypto space is concerned, continues to take new turns with the announcement of a token-based bank now on the horizon. One of the main stumbling blocks for the so-called blockchain island has been the difficulties encountered by blockchain and crypto companies to gain access to bank accounts. That, however, it seems is about to change. The aptly titled Founders Bank will now be providing what it terms as progressive fintech solutions to the world of innovation and blockchain. The project is a collaboration between the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by turnover, Binance, and the blockchain-based equity fundraising platform, Neufund. Founders Bank claims that it will become the first stable and high-tech banking solution not only focused on the founders, but also owned by them, bridging the gap between the traditional financial world and innovative crypto companies. In exclusive comments to CCN, Junior Minister for Digital Innovation and Financial Services Silvio Schrembi said that this was indeed a hugely development for Malta. That is a typo. This is another block to our ever-growing blockchain island ecosystem. Next week, we will announce other complementary projects that will continue to close the circuit for the system to function, the accumulation of which will be exhibited during the government-backed Delta Summit to be held between the 3rd and 5th of October in Malta. I'm not going to read through the tweets. They're not super important. They're just kind of patting themselves on the back. The equity tokened offering to be conducted on Neufund under German regulation in collaboration with one of Europe's major stock exchanges later this year will allow all market participants to become co-owners of Founders Bank. This is pioneering as it will allow clients to decide on the development of the solutions they are using with blockchain-style governance model based on smart contracts. That is incredibly interesting. One of the main reasons that a lot of other people, especially the people who are into traditional finance, have said before that they don't really care for cryptocurrencies, but also blockchain. A lot of it has to do with governance. One of the main things that we keep hearing around cryptocurrencies is the idea of decentralization, or like a decentralized type of governance where everyone kind of has a say in how things are built. So the fact that there will potentially be a cryptocurrency blockchain-backed bank where people who are members of it will be able to decide on the future of the projects that are happening within the bank, that is going to be a true test to see if blockchain is actually stable and worthy of actually real world integration, because I'm sure you've all seen in the last couple of months, we've had a couple of problems with a lot of blockchain projects where things are being taken over by people who own larger shares than other people, or people who have higher stakes tend to have more voting power. But I mean, this will still be something quite interesting. I was skeptical for a little bit, like a day and a half, if Binance was actually going to be able to keep their number one spot, especially because I think the bank is called SBI in Japan. They've constantly said that when they launch, which is supposed to be in the next couple of weeks in Japan, that they will instantly or very quickly become the number one crypto exchange in the world. But Binance seems to like, I don't know. I think Binance is definitely going to be around for quite some time. If they remain number one for a long time, I do not know. But the fact that they are expanding so rapidly, like you guys, I mean, 4 months ago, we didn't have this much Binance news, but it seems like every day or every other day, Binance is definitely doing something else to expand their reach around the entire world. But this is absolutely incredibly wonderful for the crypto community. So here's a good one. Cryptocurrencies will take center stage once again on Capitol Hill next week. The U.S. House of Representatives Financial Services Committee announced on Thursday that it would host a hearing titled The Future of Money, Digital Currency on Wednesday, July 18th. Though the committee, headed by Chairman Jeb Hensarling, has yet to announce a full list of participating witnesses, CoinDesk confirmed that the event will be live streamed on its website, so you can go to coindesk.com and watch the live stream there. Past hearings by the committee have seen lawmakers discuss cryptocurrencies through the lenses of terrorism financing and fraudulent investments. One of the main things that they always say, That being said, it seems the topic of next week's hearing is more geared towards debating the utility of cryptocurrencies as a form of money. It is a timely topic in light of an increasing interest in cryptocurrencies as a potentially useful monetary tool for governments and, more specifically, central banks around the world. In March, the Bank of International Settlements, which some consider as the central bank to central banks, argued cryptocurrencies backed by central banks could in fact fuel faster bank runs during periods of financial instability. I don't know if everyone was here for, I think I read about that day. I'm not really sure. I remember I read it. I don't know if I told you guys about it. Pretty much what ended up happening was that the central bank of central banks pretty much said the counter of what a lot of other banks around the world have been saying, that they don't want to issue their own central cryptocurrency. Pretty much they said that because of the liquidity in the cryptocurrency market and because of what happens with stocks, which we spoke about yesterday as well, when it's the weekend and, you know, they receive some type of bad news, the market continuously just sells off on Monday because everyone has this fear that has grown over the last 48 hours. So when they finally get the chance to sell, everything kind of crumbles. But they believe that essentially that should something bad happen to the markets, that the central bank, as they have control over all the money, that they would literally be able to flip a switch and they would be able to change the entire policy that they had before, which would then possibly ease tensions. It pretty much comes down to them having control over everything, to not even really sugarcoat it. So as of now, we are still in July, and this is the time period that we have been told by the SEC, CFTC, and other countries around the world and G20 members that we will receive some type of worldwide regulatory clarity. So I don't think that this meeting called the Future of Money Digital Currency happening in the middle of July is a mistake. I think it's, especially because you can watch it. So I think this is more for the public and other governments to be able to see, so that it's not behind closed doors, so that we can kind of see what they have. I'm expecting the same old song. They're going to talk about the pros, the many cons, how it's useful, how it's not useful, and then they'll go into anti-money laundering, they'll go into KYC, they'll go into this. I'm sure a couple of names will be dropped as far as like cryptocurrency companies being compliant, etc. Probably even Coinbase being spoken about, because Coinbase has made sure that they are as compliant as digitally possible. But yeah, this is going to be, I don't know. I was going to say I won't discuss it, but I'm pretty sure that some important things will be said about it. So this is something definitely to look forward to. Yeah, so let's move on. Tether is back in the news. This is, I think this was a long time coming, and I'm kind of interested, or rather glad, that they finally did it. Tether, the company behind the controversial dollar-tied stablecoin known as USDT, has hired a chief compliance officer from the 8th largest bank in North America. Leonard Reel is a former anti-money laundering analyst for the Bank of Montreal, where he worked for 4 years in 3 different positions. The hiring announcement comes less than a month after Tether released the results of a review by Free Sporkin and Sullivan, LLP, which stated that the new law firm was confident that USDT token is fully backed by dollar reserves. That review, which itself came months after the relationship between Tether and auditing firm Friedman dissolved, largely failed to assuage critics who assert that the token isn't fully backed and has been used as a tool to inflate cryptocurrency prices, which it has. The main argument has always been, do they have the funds to back it up? In a statement, Reel said that he looked forward to helping showcase Tether's commitment to transparency and regulatory compliance within the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. As a longtime advocate of blockchain technology and integration of cryptocurrencies into the mainstream, I am looking forward to putting my experience into anti-money laundering and regulatory compliance into traditional financial institutions to use to ensure that the Tether project can continue its work disrupting traditional industries, he went on to say. Tether has overlapping management and ownership with the cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex, who earlier this year tapped a former Bank of Montreal executive to serve as its chief compliance officer. At the moment, I think I said this before as well, it seems that Tether is real. We don't know who's in cahoots with who may be lying about what. But the fact that this is guy, he was into anti-money laundering things before for the Bank of Montreal, kind of solidifies that Tether is real. I think they went for so long not really caring what other people had to say that they're trying to cover their bases as much as possible to prove that they are real. Part of the issue is that every single time that they end up printing more Tether, they don't print like, $8,000 worth of Tether or like 15,000 or even 150,000. The last time they printed Tether was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it was $250 million. It seems kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe they have proper funding. We've seen as well the other stable coins that I think I spoke about one yesterday as well that have been coming out, and they all have some type of like bank backing or someone who was into finance before who's kind of behind them. So I'm pretty sure that they're all getting like massive amounts of funds, probably hundreds of millions of dollars every couple of weeks or something like that, to be able to promote and or stabilize the coin. Who knows exactly what it is, but Tether is constantly on the defense because they took so long to prove to everyone that it was actually real. But at the moment, it appears, at least to us on the outside looking in, that Tether is legitimate. Last up, in possibly the most confusing thing that you will hear all day, on the 11th of July, WeChat, the Chinese messaging platform, announced that it has added a Bitcoin Cash wallet feature to the application, allowing users to send and receive the cryptocurrency. Keeping in mind, this is in China, the people who have banned cryptocurrencies. This was revealed in a tweet by co-founder of the Tokyo Bitcoin Cash meetup, Ken Shishido, who stated, he said, breaking, WeChat now has a built-in Bitcoin Cash wallet. You can send WeChat friend on chain. Some people were talking about it on Twitter, not that important. WeChat has been implementing a couple of changes over the past week, with the main one being the launch of WePage. This feature offers brands on the platform the opportunity to deal with their homepage with added scrutiny and security. Dan Sao, who is the co-founder of eTail Group, Azoya, told a Chinese daily, Jing Daily, that, as you know, many of the WeChat's services are decentralized. You can't really search for them, and each of them appears separately. For example, a brand's official account and the same brand's mini programs. I think WePage could be an attempt for WeChat to fix this problem of decentralization while retaining user experience. It serves as a gathering area for brands and retailers to display all of their services and channels to the customers. These changes in the application show that WeChat is trying to enhance its e-commerce capability. One of the funniest things that I actually will read out is this tweet. Someone said, "Wonderful news. Looking forward to the Chinese government tracking all of my spending and building a shadow profile on me. Truly great." If you haven't caught on to what's confusing is, the Chinese government essentially owns WeChat. Everything that happens through WeChat, and I can't remember the name of the other apps, because like I said before in other videos, they do everything that you use right now on your computer is not allowed in China. Everything is completely banned. So everything has to go through things that the government has complete control over, or that the government can look into at any moment. And one of them is WeChat. Essentially, this is like the Telegram or the WhatsApp or anything you can think of that, WeChat. You can kind of get the idea from the name. So the fact that they have, or that there is an option for Bitcoin Cash to be used in a wallet on WeChat that the Chinese government kind of controls is kind of ridiculous. The Chinese government actually does build shadow profiles on people. I don't know if you knew that. So this is going to be quite interesting, especially because they said that they're trying to change how WeChat actually works. I don't know. I thought this was interestingly confusing. So many mixed signals from China. It's very, very odd. I give it about a week or two. If this isn't snuffed out and the Bitcoin Cash wallet is still on WeChat, that could be some type of indication of where the future is going to go for cryptocurrencies in China. It's all very odd. I don't really know what else to say about this, but the fact that WeChat is actually, I don't know, it's very odd. There was a news article yesterday or the day before where the Chinese government was actually like applauding the fact that no one was using crypto in their country anymore because it was a scam or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are having a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Thank you once again for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.